Hey, welcome to our blog. Boy, what a joy to be able to see you again. I hope you've been enjoying these tales from Africa and my stories that I love to tell. I love telling stories, and it's a great one. Today I'm going to tell you about the first time I arrived in Africa. The first few days I was in Africa. What an exciting time for me. I was thrilled. I grew up reading Tarzan books, so I get off the plane in Karawa into the lush jungle, the trees, and I'm looking like, oh, where's Tarzan? He's going to be flying out of the trees someplace. And so I'm just excited. I'm a young man of about 20. I was 22 when I arrived there, and I'm just, everything's new to me, and it's exciting. It's exciting, but you know, what is the perceptions? We come with perceptions. We come with expectations. And I read about the Congo in the past, the Belgian Congo, that it had been a country that had cannibals in it, and I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be an exciting time of being able to serve God, serve my Lord and Savior in the Congo. And so I arrived there, really what the expression green behind the ears, and and so I'm arriving there, and and only after 2 days of being there, they put me on a motorcycle to ride it to this one village. A career missionary couple is moving. They have loaded this huge truck with all their belongings, and I'm going to ride their motorcycle to get to the town of Wasolo. And so they're in this big truck, and I'm going to be ahead of them, but I don't know the way. So the plan is that I would just go straight on this one road, on the dirt road, and I'd go on the dirt road for a while, and then when I come to a crossroads, I would basically wait there and wait for the truck to come up and tell me to go turn or to go straight. And so that was what it was. We left at 6 o'clock in the morning. We got on the bike, and they got in the truck, and we headed down the road, and I'm buzzing along on the motorcycle, bumping over things. People are out there. I mean, Africans are out on the road. I mean, we're talking a crowded road of people. They're all waving. The kids are waving at me, and this is all new to me. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. It was really cool. And so, you know, I don't know how to speak the language. And sure enough, I get to the first crossroads, and I wait there. People coming up, and they're talking to me. I have no idea what they're saying. But I wait for the truck. The truck comes up, and he says, no, just keep on going straight. So I keep on down the road. And so finally, after a couple of times of doing that, I'm way ahead of the truck. And I get to another crossroads, and I'm way ahead. And I wait there, and I wait, and it's out of village, and people are coming out, and they're talking to me. And of course, I'm just looking dumb and just sitting there. I'm thinking, okay, these guys used to be cannibals. I don't know what's going on, you know. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and the truck's not coming. I waited there like maybe an hour and a half, and the truck doesn't show up. And I'm thinking, oh, something's wrong. Maybe something happened to the truck, or that I took the wrong. Maybe I took the wrong road. Maybe I missed a turnoff. I don't know what's going on. And so I get on the bike, and I'm going to go back and just try to find the truck. And I get on the bike to start it up, and the bike won't start. And I'm kicking on, and I'm kicking, and I'm kicking, and I'm kicking. And I'm not a mechanic in any way. I have no idea what even to look for at this motorcycle. And I'm kicking the bike, and it's not starting. And people are coming up, and they're pushing me, tapping me on the shoulder. And I have no idea what they're. I'm thinking, man, they're sizing me up. They're saying, oh, do they have a pot big enough for this guy? And so I'm just like, oh no, this is really scary. And I can't leave the bike there because the bike doesn't belong to me. And I'm starting to get really nervous. And so I just start, what I do is I just start heading back towards where I came from, pushing the bike. And I would push the bike up the hill, and then I get to the top of the hill, I'd jump on the bike, and I would coast down the hill, and then I'd push it up another hill and coast down the other hill. And I'm doing this, and I'm getting hungry, and I'm getting tired. It gets to be noon. It gets to be 1 o'clock. My mouth, I was told very specifically, don't drink any water out in the villages, because you know you can get sick on it. So I'm not drinking anything. I am hot. I'm sweaty. I hadn't eaten anything for like 8 hours, and I'm just getting really famished. My mouth is just dry. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you just get so thirsty and your mouth just starts sticking, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm dying, and all along people are waving at me, and they're trying to figure out what I'm doing, because it's a really quiet motorcycle, and why is he pushing it up the hill, and I'm pushing it up and down, and finally I am just ready to give up. I'm exhausted, and I get to the top of the hill, and I get on the bike, and I'm going to coast down the hill. And as I'm coasting down the hill, off to the side, a man is standing over there under a beautiful mango tree, shady mango tree, and they have a chair. It's a reclining chair that they call a goy-goy chair, sitting out under the mango tree, and he's waving me over. Says, come over, come over. You know, of course, I'm not speaking the language, but he's waving me over. And you know, the bike just coasted right over there, and they just went right underneath the mango tree, and I parked it, and I got off, and I collapsed in this reclining chair. Oh, I was exhausted. I couldn't go another step. And so I'm sitting there, and he comes out there, and he brings me this glass, this drinking glass, and it's got this dark drink in it. I have no idea what it is. And brings it to me, hands it to me, and it's hot. It's hot to the touch. And I'm thinking, okay, well, it's hot. It's got to be cooked, so, you know, that's got to kill some of the bugs. I've got to get some liquid in me anyway. So I drink it, and it ends up being coffee. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I hate coffee. Oh, there's no such, it's an oxymoron to say good coffee. They just don't, good and coffee don't go together, in my mind. I do not like coffee. But here's this glass of coffee served to me, and you know what? I drank it. I drank it all and asked for seconds. I was so thirsty, and I drank that down, and the guy was trying to talk to me. He was sitting down with me, and I, you know, of course, I'm not speaking any of the language. So finally, after, I don't know how long I was sitting there, maybe I was sitting there an hour, 2 hours or something like that, I hear another motorcycle coming up from the mission, the direction of where I had come from, the mission. I hear a motorcycle. I said, okay, this is probably the missionaries out looking for me. And so I get up out of the chair, and I go out to the street, and I wave him down, and sure enough, Bob Thornbloom on a motorcycle drives up to me, and he's looking for me. He finds me. And he speaks the language fluently. He grew up in this African country, and so he just talks to this guy, and amazingly, it was really amazing. He just tells the African, and the African, oh sure, and he takes the bike and they put it in the house. And I turned to Bob and says, did you mean to say that I didn't have to push the bike for the last 5 miles? Oh yeah, you could have dropped off anywhere. They all know it's a mission bike. No one would have bothered. It says, oh brother, if I had only known. And so I get on the back of his bike, and we head up the road, and we get to where the truck that was supposed to be following me is broken down. It had its union went out on it, and so it was broken down in the middle of the road. And so I get there, and they said, and Bob says, well, we're going to have to go back to the mission station, get another truck, and tow this truck back. So they asked me, because I'm the short-termer, they asked me and another young man to stay and guard the truck, guard the stuff on the truck. Well, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I still haven't eaten anything. But on the cab is my lunch, which was a half a sandwich. That it was all that was left of it. It was a half a roast beef sandwich with mayonnaise in it. Well, it already began to smell funny, and I was questioning whether it was even good to eat. And it was sitting there really uninviting. And everybody had left. Just this Dave Penner and myself were sitting at the truck there, and we were like, oh, I'm so hungry and I'm thirsty. We didn't have any water to drink. It was not a very good situation. And all these kids started coming up around, and they started yelling and talking. And Dave Penner spoke the language a little bit, but not very much. But he was communicating a little bit. And I asked Dave, I said, what's the word for, because of pineapple? That was my solution. It's juicy, it's meaty. Oh, it would be so wonderful. So I wanted to get a pineapple. So I asked Dave, I said, how do you say pineapple? Tell me to bring a pineapple. And he said, I didn't know. And so I got down in the dirt, and I drew a pineapple, and I held up the sandwich. I said, if you give me a pineapple, you can have my sandwich. And so sure enough, the kids go running off, and they get a pineapple, and they bring it to me, and I hand them my sandwich, and like 20 kids devour this one little tiny half a sandwich, and they're happy with that. And I get this pineapple, and we cut it open. Oh, it tasted wonderful. I got this pineapple, and it was great. And I was able, but by the end of the day, so Bob Thornbloom came back with a truck, and we towed the truck in, and I got back to the station I started with at 6 o'clock in the morning. I got back there at 9 o'clock at night. What a day. My first trip out into Africa. But it was exciting, and I loved it. I hope you enjoyed this story too, and come back and visit us again. Thank you.